Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. Hey, everyone. You know we love Bravo. We talk about it all the time on the show. So this week, we are revisiting parts of our conversations with some of our favorite Bravo men. That's Jesse Solomon, Carl Radke, and the one and only Andy Cohen. These conversations are deep and vulnerable. They share moments that were challenging, help them grow, and even change their perspectives on life. First up, Jesse Solomon. One of the reasons we wanted you on this show is because you've been so open about your previous cancer diagnosis. And you were diagnosed when you were very young, 24?
Yep.
So what happened? Do you mind sharing with us? I'm sure you've shared this before, but.
Yeah, no, I'm an open book. Well, it was the Thursday before Labor Day weekend. I was just going to get like a routine physical. I'd been living in New York for 2 years, and I could hear my mom in the back of my head being like, "You get your yearly physical." So I went to the doctor, peed in a cup, got all the routine stuff. And I was like, I kind of feel a twinge of pain in my nut. And he's like, I don't think this is anything, but go get an ultrasound. And so I go get an ultrasound, and they call me back like right away. And I also had like an STD test done at the same time. And I was like, wow, I have chlamydia. Like my life is over. So I like go to work. I'm thinking of like, who could have given me chlamydia all day?
Oh my God.
I'm like I'm an assistant at William Morris, like Alex Raven's office, answering the phone all day. And then I go back and I was like, all right, doc, like give me the meds. And he's like, so it looks like you have cancer.
Oh, Jesus.
I have to get your testicle removed. You'll likely need radiation and some chemo and whatever. And
You're like, could I please just have chlamydia? Please.
Yeah.
Just give me chlamydia.
Yeah, it's so funny. I've told this story so many times now. So when you Google my name, somebody sent me a screenshot. It just says Jesse Solomon chlamydia. I should probably stop telling that part of the story, but like it's so
Just change
good.
it to syphilis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's way better.
Okay.
Anywho. Yeah, so I was like, this was the Thursday before Labor Day weekend, and it was just some random doctor that was like on staff. And I was like, come on, you got to be kidding. Like, where's my real doctor? Who are you? And he's like, no, seriously. So then I went and got a second opinion and a third opinion. And I found my way to Sloan Kettering, and they were like, yeah, let's get this thing out of there as quickly as possible. And then, there's no way to like see if it was cancer without taking your testicle out. There's no biopsy or anything. So yeah, 6 days later, I was under the knife, and I was cracking jokes. I was lighthearted. I was like, can I keep it in a jar? And then, this is hilarious. Like,
you're one ball Solomon.
Yeah. Nobody's
one ball Sol. Amen.
I was like,
Lemon. Amen.
He's like, breathe in some of this oxygen. And I was like, I love oxygen. I don't have my contacts in. I can't see. I'm cracking jokes. And next thing you know, I wake up and the surgery's over. And I was like, did you guys give me the fake testicle, by the way? And they were like, yeah, we did. I was like, thanks for asking.
Oh, so they fill it.
Yeah, they fill it with a prosthetic. It's like a cool party trick. I can whip out my fake nut.
Awesome.
Wow.
It's like chicks with fake boobs, because I have fake boobs because I've my cancer, right? So I've got fake boobies. Like you can move them. You know what I mean? It's like I can just move them up and down and to the left, to the right without touching them, which is one of the fun tricks of cancer. Thank you, cancer. Not funny.
It's interesting because like I can't feel the fake nut. You can feel the skin. But is that the same thing with boobs? Can you feel like?
I mean,
well, my skin is numb because they cut so many of my nerve endings. So like you could be like fondling me and I wouldn't know. I mean, I'd see you down there, but like I'm doing this, like, people can't see, but I'm like rubbing my boobies, but I can't feel the skin there, but I know it's there.
Right.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, Jesse. Nice to meet you. This is me
Yeah,
rubbing my
I'll
own
have to
boobies.
ask other women with fake boobs if they can feel it the same as when they had real boobs.
Do some research. Just get out on the street.
I'll take a mini mic out in the
Yeah,
streets.
there
you go.
Hi, Jesse Solomon.
So you go through this surgery and you think the journey is done.
Yep.
And then what?
I was healthy for a full year, and I would go and get checkups every 6 weeks. And, I was lucky that I'd caught it
Every
early.
6 weeks.
Yeah. Yes, every 6 weeks. So there would be like a chest x-ray, blood work, and then every second visit, so every 12 weeks, they would do a CAT scan. And those suck because they like pump you full of gross stuff and
Yeah.
radiation from the machine and whatever. But yeah, I was healthy for a full year. So then when the doctor came in and was like, "Hey buddy, cancer's back," I was like really caught off guard.
Did he say it like that, Jesse?
Absolutely not.
Hey buddy. What's up?
No, I'm just trying to keep it light, because yeah, it was, and then 4 rounds of chemo, 5 days per round. It took like 3 or 4 months to get through the whole thing.
Did you stay in New York for that? Did you go home?
Yeah, I stayed in New York because I had this fantasy that like my life wouldn't change that much. And I just wanted to keep things as similar as possible and try to like go to work and stuff. I just had no idea how bad it would be. So yeah, different members of my family would show up for like a week of chemo. And
How bad did it get?
the first round was not that bad. You wake up early, you go sit in the waiting room, just a lot of waiting, and then they prick your arm, and then you've got liquid pumping for like 4 hours, and you go to the bathroom a lot and podcast and whatever, and you get kind of nauseous, but I wasn't like throwing up all the time. But then I got like a cold going into my second round, and then chemo got delayed. And then I would get this shot to make sure my white blood cell count was high enough to do chemo. And I had another cold going into my third round, and they were like, "Your white blood cells are fine, so we're going to do it anyways." And then I got pneumonia. And I always say,
oh my
like,
God, dude.
yeah, chemo, not that bad, but pneumonia, terrible disease.
Yeah.
I had pneumonia twice. I mean, I lost my hair, which was like expected, but still not fun. So yeah, it was, but you'd go to chemo, you'd go home, you'd smoke some weed, take a nap, eat some food, do it again the next day. Like it could have been worse. It was kind of like a stay-at-home vacation of sorts.
My mom has had cancer 3 times, breast cancer twice and ovarian cancer once. And then she was going through her chemo for a couple of years, had like 8 surgeries and stuff like that. But when her hair was growing in, this is how we made it happy. I would dye her hair with manic panic, she would have like just a bang and then like no hair, like some of it coming in. So we would just make it fun for us with
That's
like
so
purple
fun.
and black and red. And, I don't know why I'm telling you that story, but that's because of the chemos and I watched it happen.
Yeah.
So, but you got to make it fun when it starts growing in.
I was 20 when I was diagnosed with MS. And while MS and cancer are very different journeys, I can understand and connect with you on no, I think my life is just going to still be the same while I live with this because I'm young and I don't want my life to be different. It's a small state of denial, survival, whatever you want to call it, maybe a mixture of all of the things. But, now I sit here, 23 years later with a similar perspective to what I hear you have, in that I believe that MS is one of the best things that's ever happened to me because of the perspective and the mindset that it's given me. And I know that you've said the same, and I just would love to know, was that something that came over time? Was it something that you were feeling going through it? Like, how were you? Because you are still so young. And I think that, especially as a man too, to be able to, have that perspective is really important and special.
Yeah. Thank you. Definitely wasn't right away, but yeah, I would say like within a year after getting over the sickness, and I got a flu shot after chemo because I was like, definitely don't want the flu now that my immunity is low. And then like the flu shot took me out for a couple weeks. But yeah, I would say as time went on, you just get super grateful for everything. And you realize like you don't know what anyone else is going through. Like I was walking down the street with like a hole in my stomach because somebody just ripped one of my nuts out. And then I was like getting like you couldn't tell from the outside that I had just had like a surgery like that. And I was like, if I got mugged right now, I would be so screwed. Like I couldn't defend myself.
Mm.
And you just never know. You know, people have all types of terrible situations going on at home. And I just felt so blessed that my parents had the means to fly in. I was at the best hospital for what I had in the world. I mean, like so many things that just, you know, even though it was such a bad situation, I was so fortunate to have that type of support system and care. So yeah, I think before I would worry a lot about like what I was doing that weekend and like missing out on an event or like a girl. And it's just really hard to care about those things once you've gone through something where you're like, oh, I could potentially die from this.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm bringing it back to my mom again, but it's something that, you know, it's like that thing of, my mom was diagnosed with cancer again in Christmas 2020. So January 2021 is when I started having symptoms of MS because I was so stressed out. But I was going to say about the gratitude of what, you know, you were able to like get the care. They literally told me they were not going to do surgery on her because she's too old and there's COVID and she's had a good life. That's what they said. Like, yeah, we can't. Like, there's so many people out there in the world too that like can't afford or, you know, can't get into the right doctors, and you recognizing that is beautiful. And you know, we shout out to our people out there that take care of us.
You have to give yourself a lot of credit, and we give you the credit too, because that perspective doesn't always come along with that journey. And I'm so glad you were able to sort of sit in the gratitude and be able to see and appreciate the gifts around you while you were going through one of the hardest things in your life. And I think that what was really, you know, profound and what makes like so many of us feel connected to you was then on your season of Summer House last summer, you think, right, you get over cancer, you've beaten it twice, right? I guess essentially. And then you had a scare, which happened during the summer, and you were going to be finding out about it. Prior to that,
I was so upset, dude. I was like, and I was watching,
but it was a real moment. And I want to ask you before we get to that and what that experience was like, and also to have it play out on camera, like, is there always sort of, when you survive cancer, and Christina, you can answer this too, is there always this lingering thing of, is it going to come back, or are you able to really sort of let it go?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be that little thing in the back of your head. But for me, it's only when it's leading up to a checkup. Otherwise, I'm pretty much able to just more or less forget about it.
Can I say, like, is it like, I'm like 3 days before, I'd say like 3 days before my blood work, I'm like start to panic, and then I get sick, and then I don't want to be there, and then I have diarrhea because I know that it's coming. And I had cancer in 2008 and I'm still flipped out. So,
oh man,
is it 3 days for you? What is it for you before?
Yeah, I would say
it's like the worst ever.
Yeah, like 3 days, maybe even a week before, you just start thinking about it. And then you're like, oh, what if? And then you think about how it would affect all the things that you have planned that are coming up. And you're like, it can't be right now. But it always comes back at like the worst possible time. And that's life. But
well, it's not the worst. Is there? It's cancer. It's the worst possible thing, period. Whether or not you're in a good mood or a bad mood, my friend. It is not. Yeah. It's not an enjoyable diagnosis.
Are there things that are there people you lean on, books you lean on, mantras you lean on, things that you use to help you get through sort of those fearful times?
No, I think I'm more just proactive about my health. And that kind of keeps me sane. But yes, I have, best friends that I can talk to about all that stuff. But no, I don't get too anxious about it typically. I think just on the show, I felt something on my nut, and that's why I was like, I'm fucked. It's over for me. I literally am going on to get my checkup on national television. Like, I just punked myself. You have cancer again. This is
Oh,
It
terrible.
must have been so frightening.
did you contemplate not doing it on camera? Did you have the option to not do it on camera or talk about it?
I'd been doing this for 4 years, and it kind of always went off without a hitch. So I was like, oh, this will be
Right.
great. I'll get to celebrate 5 years. It never really even crossed my mind that I could go south. And then, yeah, I was just so in it. And, that's kind of what you sign up for, is like, they're going to follow your real life. So, Truly Original is the production company that makes our show. They were really respectful and, didn't push the boundaries too much. They didn't like come into the doctor's appointment with me. They just kind of like hung out, and they made my mom feel comfortable. And so they were great. But yeah, it was definitely a wild experience, and I wasn't expecting it to go that way.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about, you bringing that to light is something that, a lot of people don't think that a young man of 24 would be diagnosed with testicular cancer, or as your sister in cancer, ball cants. I can say that. But I was diagnosed at 36, long before they suggest you getting mammograms. So I feel like by you bringing this to light, and now us getting to say it too, this is huge. And what would you say to these young men? Like, don't fuck around. Like, we're supposed to be feeling our boobs and doing all this stuff. But they're like, the government saying 40. I was 36. I'd be dead if I waited till 40. So tell me.
People are getting cancer at younger and younger ages at higher and higher rates. The best form of preventing, fatal cancer is early detection. So that's why it's very important to just feel your nuts once a month, go to the doctor at least once a year, feel your boobs. Like, I know a ton of young women who have had breast cancer. I mean, the amount of messages I get now of people who feel something, want to know where to go. The fact that I was on TV helped them go get a checkup, and they found something, but it was early. I mean, it's been like just really wild to see. And not just people that seeing my story has helped them physically, but people who have been through something similar, letting them know, that they're not alone. People have come up to me and have said, I was scared to talk about having cancer. I actually haven't told most of my best friends, but since you were so open about it, it's allowed me to open up about it. I just didn't realize the impact it would have on people kind of emotionally.
Yeah.
So it's just been the most rewarding thing of my life.
And now we can honestly say Summer House is socially important for society.
Well, yeah.
Oh, because you were on it. And wait, can I say something real quick, please? I'm sorry.
Yes.
You were the nicest person that's ever been on that show. You never cringed me. You never gave me ick. Oh my God, I'm talking like a kid. Oh my God.
You were joy. You were joy. You came in with joy, but now you understand why, right? You see, and I had chills while you were saying all of that, because, the older I get and the more we live this life, there's just no fucking mistakes, even the hard stuff. And had you not gone through that over the summer, or in that particular time and in that particular moment, and thank God, obviously, it played out the way that it did, and that you are okay. But you might not even ever know the profound impact that has had, who that has saved, what that has done. I mean, you're getting some connection of that, but I think it's just really beautiful. And it's our intention with what we do here, right? Is to live honestly and vulnerably. You never know what anyone might be feeling, and they might be feeling that they're the only one going through this or experiencing this. Whenever you go through something with your health, it can feel very lonely. It can feel very isolating. It can feel very confusing, and how to deal with it and how to approach it and how to talk about it. And you living all of that out, and I have no doubt how many people you helped. And I think that's really incredible.
Yep. I appreciate that so much.
Support for Messy comes from Jones Road. I don't know about you, but I don't like that heavy caked on look. I don't even like my makeup to look like I have makeup on, but the truth is I can't go out barefaced anymore. That's why I am obsessed with Jones Road Beauty, and in particular, their Miracle Balm. This was created to actually just enhance your skin instead of masking it with layers of makeup. It gives me this kind of effortless, natural look that I'm looking for. The Miracle Balm, I think, replaces many steps in my routine. Okay. I use it as a highlighter. I use it as a bronzer, a blush, a lip tint. It's the ultimate no fuss multitasker. And it's also perfect for travel. All of Jones Road formulas are clean and high performing. That means there's no sulfates, no PEGs, no silicones, BPA, none of it. Once I started simplifying my routine with Miracle Balm, by the way, I've realized that some days I still need a little more coverage. So Jones Road actually just launched their foundation stick that fits perfectly into that. It's a foundation stick that even foundation stick skeptics will love. It's durable, it's buildable, real coverage while feeling completely weightless on your skin. Modern day makeup that's clean, strategic, and multifunctional for effortless routines. For a limited time, our listeners are getting a free full-size mascara on their first purchase when they use code MESS at checkout. Just head to jonesroadbeauty.com and use code MESS at checkout. And after you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Support for Messy comes from Rhythm Health. It seems like me and everybody else is really focused on our health journey. And I love that. But here's the thing. If you are not tracking your blood work while you're doing it, you're basically just flying blind. And that's why I'm so excited about our new partner, Rhythm. Rhythm is the world's easiest blood test to help you learn what's happening inside your body. You take it in 2 minutes at home. Okay, there's no needles. There's just a sleek and painless collection device you peel and stick on your arm. You draw a small sample, you mail it to their lab, and you get results back in around 3 days. So with old school testing, right, you might drive to a lab once a year, get a single snapshot and forget about it. But with Rhythm, you can test every month. You track movement in over 30 biomarkers spanning cholesterol, inflammation, hormones, and metabolic health. Rhythm is also only $79 per month, a fraction of traditional lab testing. It ships right to your door and you can cancel any time. Listen, by testing your blood monthly, you're keeping an eye on how changes that you're making affect your health. I love that. When I started taking testosterone, estradiol, I'm seeing how it's affecting my hormones in real time. And I love that. Right now, Rhythm is offering our listeners 15% off your first month and free shipping at rhythm.health/messy. That's Rhythm with one H, RYTHM.health/messy for 15% off your first month and free shipping. Stop guessing, start testing. Rhythm.health/messy. We all face moments that force us to take a hard look at our lives. And for Carl, that moment became the beginning of everything changing. I guess we can say Carl is no longer being a mess. In your book, I mean, you talk, it's not like reality television amplified this. If anything, right, you were able to sort of look back and really, like, if we all could see ourselves, right, filmed and like actually watch our behavior and how we're acting, you know, not everybody will take the opportunity and has the self-awareness or wants to be like, let me just check myself here. But you did. But did you do that prior to the decision of getting sober? Or do you think that, was it the feedback you were getting about yourself on the show that made you like feel like I need to take a look at this behavior? What was it that made you want to look into that? Because you seem to be somebody, it sounds to me also like your apologies is because of how much shame you've carried throughout your life as well.
Yeah.
Like even though you didn't want to be like your brother and have that, like, I can feel for you of just you still feeling so responsible and like so much of like just being so incredibly hard on yourself.
I am just generally hard on myself. I would say like it was a combination of a few things. Like around 2019, I had, friends that were concerned. I had some people that would express like, hey man, like you FaceTime me at 4 a.m. every weekend for the last 3 years. And I know why you're doing it. It's because you're drunk and you're on drugs and want to just talk to someone. I also would watch the show as a fan. Like I love Summer House just as much as you guys probably do. And I would watch and be like, I fucking hate that person, me. Like I hated myself. And I'll never forget season 4. I had a really rough summer. I behaved really, really poorly towards a cast member, Jules, in this particular party. It's something that I still get messages about because of how I treated her. And I made amends. I've apologized many times to her. We're still friendly. We were cool like a weekend later, but that moment on TV has really rang true. But I'll say it was a combination of that. And then I knew I had a problem. I knew I drank differently and I know I did a lot of cocaine, but I thought I'm not an alcoholic. Maybe I'll just focus on drinking one particular drink. It's wine, or maybe I'll drink beer. So starting in 2020, I was like, I'm going to get some support on being, moderation. I'm going to try and watch my drinking, just more about controlling the drinking. And I went into season 5 of Summer House, not drinking, feeling pretty good about that choice, but I was still thinking I could drink, but maybe just a little differently. But I got a call in August, my brother had overdosed and passed away. That
so
is the
sorry
reason.
about that, Carl.
That is the reason I got sober. Was that was to me the biggest kick in the balls ever and a tragic thing for our family. But here I was not sober, grieving the loss of my brother. So after he passed away that August, I drank. I used it as a license to go and do what I was doing before. So I lived in Soho in New York at the time. And after we wrapped filming and after my brother's funeral, I went right back into my Soho apartment that I used to party really hard in. And this time it was different. I would isolate and not go out. I would drink and do cocaine by myself.
Oh.
And just sit in my apartment and just cry, call people, because I couldn't deal with the loss of my brother. I was so sad. I was so depressed. And then I'll never forget, there was in London, it's called The Sun, which is like their version of Us Weekly or People Magazine. And I'd gotten a news alert, and it was a Sun article. It was like, fans praise Carl Radke for how he's handling the passing of his brother. I'm reading this article and like cocaine's dripping out of my nose.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm being praised for this. And I'm like, I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. And I just couldn't deal with also the notion that what I had found out in August was now going to be an episode of television. So my brother passing is on season 5. Like I got the phone call in the house and I couldn't wrap my head around this is going to be a TV episode. How? It just really messed me up. And I ultimately hit rock bottom in early January of 2021, where I was essentially this is how I felt at the time. I was trying to drink or like do so much drugs to kill myself, essentially. Like, and I'm not trying to make light of suicide but when you're that sad about someone passing away and you're drinking, which is a depressant, and you're using cocaine and you're not sleeping, I was in a really fragile mental state. Like I was in a really bad, dark place. And I hit what I describe as my rock bottom on January 6th, January 7th. But the last day, I woke up from that, and I had, fortunately, some friends that I had known who were working a program. And one of my friends, I called him. I said, I need help. Like, I need to go to AA. And he's like, call this guy. And this guy was a sponsor in New York. And I'm not giving away his information, but he worked at Goldman Sachs, super successful guy. I call him, and it was the opposite of what I thought. I thought I was going to get like a big hug through the phone. And it was like a tough alpha, like finance guy being like very like direct. And like, I'm not going to call you. You call me. I'll answer from 7 p.m. to 8. I'll give you my hour. We're going to read the book. We're going to go through this. And it was like what I needed at that time. But it was obviously a very dark period, but not everybody hits rock bottom, and I don't wish that on anybody. But what I would say I had happen over the first 6 months of going to AA was what they would describe as like a spiritual awakening, where I realized that it's okay that I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. It's actually the best thing that I've ever discovered about myself. And now I've got all these other amazing people that I actually relate to and really am inspired and want what they have. And that gave me this whole new trajectory of realizing that I'm okay. Like I'm actually stronger than ever because I'm admitting these issues and I'm asking for help. But I would say those were probably the 2019 period of time, but then 2020 and 2021 were like kind of a series of events that really were like, you got to get sober. And my choice to get sober was really to stay alive, because I was in such a fragile state that I, honest to God, think the last time I drank and did coke, like I felt like I was going to die. Like my heart was racing out of my chest. I hadn't slept for a few days. I was drinking red wine I was just a mess, an absolute mess. But I had some close friends also after that point, Kyle Cook, who came over to my apartment, and he was afraid to come over because he didn't know what he was going to walk into. And he came over, and I thought he was just coming over to catch up because I was still trying to be like a little coy, and he knew I was in a bad place. But he came over. I like tell him we're going to watch a game, which it's not something we really would do together. Him and I were more, we'd have a good time and party or talk business. But I'm sitting on my couch and he's sitting on my couch, and he's like, all right, listen. And he just jumped into like, I'm really nervous and scared for you. And he's like, if you keep doing coke like you're doing, you're going to die. He's like, it's the coke is a problem. You need to admit that. And like his kind of tough love, because he knew. And that was the tough love I kind of needed at that time, was someone who really did care for me. But I've always viewed Kyle as kind of, obviously my brother was my brother, but Kyle is like a brother. We've obviously had fights like brothers, but he's been, I get chills talking about this feeling just because Kyle's been just such an amazing person for me. He's looked out for me. He's given me so many opportunities professionally. He's put up with a lot of my BS because we worked together at Loverboy, and some of my alcohol issues and drug issues had spilled into the workplace. And as a friend and a business owner, I put him in some very difficult positions that I still am ashamed and have apologized and tried to make amends to him, because anybody who's got someone they care about who struggles, it's confusing, it's hard, and it takes a lot of just grace and patience. And he's exhibited a lot of that, which a lot of people would have just said, no, fuck you, I'm done with you kind of thing. So I've been very lucky. I've had a lot of people support me.
I also want to say, like, you did this too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the sense of like, I've known, Carl, I've known so many addicts in my life. And, there's the two choices. Either you get sober or you die. And you got sober, and that's some serious like dedication and bravery and a will and a care for yourself and actually a self-love, if you can really kind of get into that, is like, it's really admirable. And I hope people really listen to this, because it's okay to like, it's okay to take that and go away and not, you're always going to have the little bits of shame. But what you did was, it's not very often that people make it through, Carl.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's why I don't take like the position I'm in lightly. And I feel a sense of obligation to help other people. And that is a part of kind of the program, is service and giving back and showing up for others. But what I'll say, like what was a big pivotal point for me was at my brother's funeral, I gave a eulogy. I went to the bar next door. I was drinking during the breaks. But I came back from the bar, maybe it was because I was a little on one, but I looked at my niece, who's my brother's oldest daughter, and I look at her and I see me, I see my brother, I see our family in her. And she's a beautiful, sweet, at the time, 14-year-old girl, smart, just so much talent and all these great things. And I'm like, I see her and I'm like, this is why you get sober. Is like your legacy and your family and like your, like, what do you leave behind? Like, what do you stand for as a man? Like, who are you? And that was like, honestly, what I needed to see was like my beautiful niece. And like, it reminded me, I want to have a family, but the only way I can have a family is if I've got my head on straight and I get the support and help I need. And it was kind of that kind of wake up call, even after my brother had passed, that I was like, holy shit, my brother left behind 3 children. And, it's sad as hell, but he still is carrying on his family because he's got beautiful children that are still here and we are loving and trying to support. So in a weird way, my brother's still here more than ever, so I try to kind of hold on to some of that.
Yeah. And to piggyback on what Christina was saying too, of like, you're such a role model for so many different reasons, but like one of the things that you were able to do that I think is one of the hardest things is forgive yourself, right? And
I think I'm still working on that, to be completely honest.
But it's always a work in progress, of course. But even to open that door, I mean, I think once you do, it's almost like the energy that you allow for you to receive the help and the love and believe that you're worth it, and because I'm sure every day you have to wake up with that choice. And the choice to stay sober is a choice of like, no, I am worth more than that type of life. And that's very, very admirable. And, there's times as somebody who's like an avid reality show watcher and like, I love every minute of it. I've loved it forever. But there's moments that you watch that almost feel so intimate. Like you feel lucky that you're getting to watch it, but you're almost like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't be. And that there's like, and then there could be a narrative, right, that can run away. That I just want to know, like, for you as somebody that's been on reality TV for so long, like, what do you do with those moments? Like, how do you handle yourself? Do you immediately want to address them? Have you learned through process that things just like come and go and that you just kind of know who you are? Because I'm somebody that like always thinks everybody's mad at me, like, always people pleaser as well. And so to do it on that type of scale, I can't imagine what that's like to deal with.
Another thing that I was watching was people kind of being disappointed that you weren't drunk anymore.
Oh, wow.
Like, aw.
Yeah.
Carl's not drunk anymore. And we can't do the house the way we did it with him. And that really, really bums me out, but that happens. People mourn your partying ways, which is
they get attached to a version. Yeah.
Well, they call it old Carl, OC.
Old. Yeah. Okay.
Old Carl.
Old Carl. We like new Carl.
Yeah.
I like them both, but
we like new Carl.
We celebrate new Carl.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm still learning 10 years later how to kind of navigate some of these moments. I mean, I would say when I first got sober, like that season 6, season 7, I was like high and mighty, meaning I thought I was better than everybody because I'm like, oh, look at them. They're fighting. And I'm in my head like, well, they've been drinking all day. That's why they're fighting. Or had all these little things that it was a really not a great place to operate from. I'm no better or no worse than anybody. And I had to kind of humble myself and take a step back. Because just because you got sober doesn't mean you have it all figured out. Doesn't mean, I've joked around, just because you're sober doesn't mean you're still not an asshole. Like I have my moments, and Jamie, to your point of feeling I'm an overthinker, I will always kind of dig my own grave in my head. I've had this saying, like, I've always wait for the other shoe to drop, because a lot of my life, there's always been like something happens. And, so I'm kind of always trying to work through those feelings of, something bad's going to happen, something's going to fall through. But I try to turn a lot of that over to my higher power. And you got to lean on faith, at least from my personal experience, turning things over to God and just letting the universe operate and trusting that the universe has my back. And
that's right. And everything's temporary.
Well, and I was going to say, Jamie, like, my favorite is "this too shall pass." And it sucks when someone says that to you while you're going through it. I'm like, fuck you. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it actually does. And I try to operate from one day at a time, or 1 minute, 1 hour at a time. Some of these little tools have really helped kind of loosen up some of that noise in my head. But yeah, like I've had a lot of conversations on reality TV that I've watched back and been like, you didn't say what you really wanted to say. Why? And I've held back sometimes because, and I think you'll see on this new season, I struggle with Kyle, and I'm trying to be supportive to him. I have some opinions that I want to express to him, but I struggle to give it to him without feeling like I'm going to hurt him.
Well, is it feeling like you're going to hurt him because you'll say it, or because you're going to say it on camera?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both. And I think we all respect and love each other so much that I would never want to put my best friend in a really weird position publicly because of some opinions I have. And it's also important to share those opinions privately too. Because there's nothing worse than being on this show and then you're like at a dinner that's being filmed and they're saying something. You're like, why didn't you tell me this yesterday when we were driving to the Hamptons with no cameras?
Right.
But, we all, I think, have operated from, we are part of this ensemble. We're a team. That we're only as good as our worst cast member. So the more we can operate from some grace and understanding that we're in kind of this world, it's hard. So I've tried to allow that. Kyle also has been like, dude, just tell me what you're thinking. It's better for you to tell me versus like tiptoeing around it and then I find out later. So it's been good crash course. And even as a sober person, navigating conflict, navigating relationships, navigating my career. And, people ask me all the time, how do you do Summer House without drinking? And I say, and it's very profound, I think, is I wouldn't do Summer House if I was drinking, because I would not I wouldn't be there.
Support comes from No CD. Okay, real talk. Have you ever had a thought pop into your head that feels random and upsetting, and then your brain will just not let it go? You try to move on, you distract yourself, you talk yourself out of it, maybe even Google it, and somehow it just keeps coming back. A lot of people don't realize that can actually be OCD. And OCD is so much more than being neat or organized. It can look like intrusive thoughts, constant doubt, and feeling stuck in a loop trying to get relief. Those thoughts can feel very real, which is what makes them so upsetting. It can attach itself to things that you care about most, your relationships, your identity, your values, which is what makes it feel so scary and so isolating. But it doesn't have to be that way, because OCD is highly treatable with the right kind of specialized therapy. OCD needs ERP, or exposure and response prevention, which is the most effective treatment for OCD. And that's where No CD comes in. No CD is the world's leading provider of OCD treatment, and their licensed therapists specialize in ERP therapy. They'll help you learn how to respond differently to intrusive thoughts so those thoughts hold less power over you. And they provide support between sessions too, so you're never facing OCD alone. No CD offers live virtual therapy, and they're covered by insurance for over 138 million Americans. If this sounds familiar, go to nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call. That's nocd.com. Our conversation with Carl reminded us that healing isn't a destination. It's something that we choose every day. And that idea comes up again in our conversation with Andy Cohen. Let's give you a Bravo break for a minute. because you're also so many other things. You're a dad ×2.
Sure am. Yes.
How has been parenting, raising 2 kids? This obviously has changed your life. What has it taught you? All the things.
It's been really great. I would say the headline of it is that it just has really grounded me. I mean, I've always been defined my job and what I'm doing and my kind of forward facing persona. And, it's just, I don't you think like, whoa, what was I doing before I did that? I just think about what was I doing with my time? I mean,
Yeah.
Sleeping, going out to dinner. Sorry. No, I mean, I love my kid. She's 14, but
yes, masturbating a lot. I mean,
sure.
There's less time for all of that. What can I say? And I get no sleep anymore. I just get absolutely no sleep.
I feel like you might be, are you an overachiever, Andy? Because what you do, like, it freaks me out that you're like doing Watch What Happens Live. And then you've got these like 15-hour days of reunions and then BravoCons and then producing all these things.
Yeah.
I get tired thinking about your life, and I watch you on Instagram. I watch you on Instagram because it gives me comfort. I love your like stuff with your kids in the car going to the Hamptons and makes my whole life happy. But like, how do you? I don't know how you.
You know what? I do I'm a very deadline oriented, goal oriented person, and so I do what needs to be done. I had to watch casting for Housewives today because I have a meeting after this. I have to watch an episode 11 of the Housewives of Atlanta. I have to watch it before 6:00. They're waiting for my notes. I will do, I know what I have to do and I get it done. But I happen to love what I do and I don't take anything on that I don't love. So if I did not love any of this, I wouldn't be doing it. It's all too good. It's, you say, oh, we're geeking out, whatever. I find it as delicious as you do. So that's why I'm thrilled to talk about it. And I'm happy that you love it. I am especially happy, Christina, because Jamie and I have had this conversation 50 times. She's been coming on Watch What Happens Live since year 1. And she was a Bravo fan for that long. And so, but I love it when someone gets on the bus way into the ride and you're like, wait a minute, how did I not know this universe? That's so gratifying to me that I saw Jennifer Aniston, who I barely know, at a party over the weekend. And she was like, and she's always kind of, I don't want to say poo-pooed the Housewives to me, but she's been a Bachelor girl and she's not been, and she's kind of been more like, God, how do you deal with those women is more the thing. And now she said, well, I finally started watching Roni. And she started watching The Real Housewives of New York. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I love it. So yeah, it's so gratifying for me. It makes me really happy.
I'm a huge Dubai fan too. Like, I love Dubai, but I was a Ladies of London. See, I started watching Ladies of London and then all of a sudden Dubai's there and there's Carolyn Stansbury and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm such a fan. Like I don't even know what to do with myself.
I love Caroline Stanbury. I think she's such a great TV character. I find her so watchable and she owns everything. It's like she says, I'm a bitch or I can be, she totally owns everything and there's kind of a reason for it all. But I was disappointed with the way that last reunion ended. Because the whole reason we are there is not only to rehash, but kind of to resolve, because you need to resolve in order to keep the train moving. And they left in a worse place than they got there.
Yeah, that was sad for me.
I
haven't finished Potomac reunions yet. So I do something I call banking.
Okay.
So I will let 2 weeks go by. So I bank Southern Charm, Hospitality, Married to Medicine, everyone that's on right now, I bank so I can just sit and just go all day.
That makes such good sense.
Yeah. And I love Married to Medicine, by the way. I don't know.
Married to Medicine is great. Did you see the reunion where we saved Dr. Simone's marriage?
I was sobbing.
unbelievable.
Sobbing.
Yes.
Jamie, did you ever see this? They saved a marriage.
Wait, you're doing like real work in the world.
Real work.
Real work.
How do you prepare for a reunion, by the way? Like, I feel for, like, when those women are just yelling over you and you know that you have a show to produce and a train to drive, like, how do you take care of yourself in those moments?
I love when you get pissed, but that's all.
I've been doing this a long time. It used to be way more emotionally draining for me. I'm weirdly used to it now.
That makes sense.
And it's funny because and how I prepare is that I produce I'm one of the producers of the show. And so I'm watching cuts and I have the benefit of then covering it on Watch What Happens Live week to week. So I have a sense of where the viewer's sentiment is. And then, so I go into these really well-versed on what's happened in the season, what happened behind the scenes, everyone's frame of mind going into the reunion. And then, a friend of mine who works for me came by the Beverly Hills reunion the other day, and he watched a couple hours and he said, "Oh, it's so interesting." He said, "You kind of, there was a long stretch where Dorit and Sutton were really going at it. And there are times where I kind of hang back and just let them go. And then I'll know when to jump in and just shut it down and say, we have to move on." But there's, part of the thing is you have to just let them go for a while because they want to feel heard and they want to feel like they got everything out of their system. So part of it is just getting shit out of their system so that we can move forward,
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like you can't be heard unless you listen. And so sometimes, like when these chicks
That's
talk,
the rub, Christina.
They talk at the same time. I get like tinnitus from it. And I love when you tried with like Salt Lake City and you're like, Bezos and Oprah, I think.
Yeah.
And those bitches didn't listen to you at all. And I'm like, that's your kind of boss person. Like you should respect your boss. I would never.
I was like, she's like, "I did good, right?" I go, "No." I go, you were, I said, "You acknowledged the Bezos, but you didn't stop." She's like, "Well, acknowledgement is half the thing." I'm like, "Well,
half the thing." I love her. So I have a really good imitation of her too. Cause she doesn't close her mouth when she finishes a word. It like stays open. Like you have to, I have so many impersonations and they're dedications. I don't want to say I'm making fun. They're dedicated.
Yeah, right.
We'll come on the show and I'll do all my housewives for you.
What a dream. There's no one I don't think there's anyone in the world that does what you do the way you do. You've really carved out this like really unique, like, because there's people that run networks, you never see them, it's all behind closed doors, like you wouldn't know if you were sitting next to them, but you're just like so intertwined with this universe that you've created in such a beautiful way. It's really it's
unusual.
Impressive. It's so impressive.
It really happened so organically, and it only could have, because if I had gone into Bravo and said, "I want to be the face of this network," I mean, it never, you know what I mean? I mean, what a joke. And also, like, do your day job. And I very gingerly, in those early years when my first boss, Lauren Zalaznik, saw something in me and gave me the opportunity to do a little stuff on air, I knew that what I was doing off air was going to be almost judged and scrutinized more closely, because I didn't want them to say, "Oh, he's focusing too much on the on-air stuff and the other stuff is like falling through the cracks." So I think that's part of the reason, Christina, why you were saying like, how do you do it? Whatever. I think part of the reason that I do everything is because I really want to, and I want to do everything well, and I want to keep doing it. I'm conscious of that.
Well, you have no choice because you are the face of Bravo and more, and you're accessible and you're funny and you always look like you're having such a good time. And
I am. Yeah.
What are the rest of the hours of the day when there isn't, besides kids? Like, Jamie,
That's
Jamie
kind of
has a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Well, you look, I mean, it's always very inspiring to see somebody that loves what they do and is successful, and it's very apparent. Like you feel like one of us when you're talking to the guests on Watch What Happens Live. But life does not
Wait, can I
scare
say this? I can smell your eye rolls. I can smell them. Not see them, but I can smell your eye
Mine
rolls.
or Andy's?
No, Andy's. When you're like listening to someone, like
I was not rolling my eyes at all.
No.
She was saying something nice.
No. Sometimes when you're with the girls.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
listen,
what I'm saying. Like, Jesus.
I'm like a mime when I'm conscious. I am conscious now, especially that I am really meant to be the kind of voice of the viewer in a way, or and so I know that they're kind of looking to me sometimes to wonder, is this sounding as crazy as I think? And I may be the only one to roll my eye or look skeptically.
You do it subtly, though. You do it
you.
very well. But what I was going to say was that nobody is spared from life and lifing and things getting hard.
Yeah.
Who are the people that you turn to in those moments? Who is your community? Who makes up your community?
My community is, well, it depends what the issue is. So I will say, if I'm going through a forward-facing problem that is like a big PR drama, or there's something bad happening where I feel like, oh my God, am I going to get canceled? Or something like that. That would be a kind of Anderson Cooper, John Mayer, Kelly Ripa, Sarah Jessica. Those would be the people that I would go to about that. If it is and then I would say, anything else like family stuff. My sister is a mom, and one of the great things for me, that's one of the great results of me becoming a dad so late in life, is that, listen, I moved to New York when I was 22 or 21 to start my career in TV. As a gay guy working in TV, I wasn't asking my sister in St. Louis for a ton of advice about what to do. It was a totally different universe. Now, all these years later, I really do ask her about mom stuff and kids and family. And so that's been a really nice. So any variety of mom friends that I have, I ask a lot of kids stuff. And, I also have really specific, there are, if I need guidance about managing a nanny, there are two girlfriends that I will call and say, what is the protocol relating to this? Or I will call Anderson and say, how much are you, what is your bonus situation or whatever? And Anderson is so much more generous than me. So it actually winds up annoying me what he's, don't talk to your rich friends about what, and I have a core group from high school and college who literally are people that you wouldn't know of, but like my college roommate, I have 4 girlfriends who are just hardcore that I've been with forever. And that's my core group. I went on a family vacation 2 weeks ago, and I brought 2 girlfriends from high school with me just so that we could have fun, and so that I wasn't alone on a vacation with 2 kids and a nanny, which can be its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christina, doesn't he remind you of Lance? Lance is how we know each other.
Yeah. He knows Lance. Okay, that's all.
I sure do.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say is, for me, like, I don't have, like, my core group is the people I've known for 30 plus years. Like, I go, same. Like, it has to be 30 plus years, or Jamie and Allison. Like, that's kind of it. Yeah. Anyone in the interim, I don't trust you. And
I don't have a lot of new friends are my friends from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's like the newest crew.
Yeah, same. And I don't have famous friends except for Jamie.
You don't have any famous friends?
Nope, not in
my
core.
You have famous friends.
I know
but
people
maybe
who are
not
famous.
Like the core
I wouldn't
Right.
call anyone up to cry about shit but Jamie. And that's it.
Well, how's your mental health?
Can you tell? Good. Sucky balls times.
That's what messy exists for, though. This is what this is for.
Well, I know exactly, but I have to say, how now did you two know each other before this podcast?
like
peripherally.
A little. Yeah.
Peripherally. Well, what a
We
great,
went to the Playboy Mansion with each other once.
unbelievable. But what a great thing this is that you started, and it's the reason that I wanted to be on, because I like you both separately so much. But I see Jamie every few years, and I see what her kind of obstacles are, but I also see how she approaches it. And I'm always so in awe and respectful. I have so much respect for you. And I'm so happy that not only that the two of you came together for each other, but I have to imagine that you've created a community for a whole lot of people who maybe are going through something either exactly what you're going through or similar, that you have created something that makes them feel not alone. And I think that there's great power in that. And I think, Christina, you being so vulnerable about, not doing so great or whatever is just keep doing that, because there's so much power in that. And I know that I am just cheering you both on from where I am. And I appreciate that this universe has become someplace that you can just go to zen out and take you away from everything.
Aww.
So
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, I'm such a newbie, and Jamie is my idol, because I'm still pissed off, but I'll get to a place of acceptance or not. I don't know.
You may not, you may not.
Fuck it. Who cares? I mean,
I
it is
will
what it
say,
is.
I have to assume that there is some great clarity that's awaiting you. And I wish that on you. And
Thank you.
I went to the hospital to see a friend of mine I got there the day that he was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is an actual deadly, and he's no longer with us. And
I'm sorry.
the peace, and I think part of the reason he had so much peace and clarity was that he was in recovery and at the time, and he had been for years. And so he had gotten so much from it. But sometimes, as I've found through life, sometimes there is a peace and clarity that you can get that an illness will guide you towards.
Yes.
And so who knows, maybe that's there waiting for you.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.